Good evening. Welcome to your News Channel 9 Sports Update. I'm Kylan Watson. We start at the War Memorial where the Syracuse Crunch are playing the Cleveland Monsters in Game 1 of the Calder Cup playoffs. The Crunch have earned home ice throughout the playoffs, but would they be able to maintain momentum against the bigger and more physical Cleveland Monsters? Ready for the opening game against the Monsters. To the second period we go. Sonny Milano finds Mark Letestu, he scores from long distance, 1-0 Monsters. Late in the second, Cameron Gantz finds Carter Verhaeghe, who finds Alexander Volkov, and he finds the back of the net on the power play. Cuts the Monsters lead in half. Syracuse and University of Connecticut star Breanna Stewart suffered a ruptured right Achilles tendon while playing for the Dynamo Krusk in Russia. She landed awkwardly on the foot of Brittany Griner. You see it right here, attempting a jumper. Now the reigning MVP of the WNBA averaged 21.8 points per game and grabbed 8.1 rebounds per game. She will be out for the 2019 season of the WNBA. They say April showers create May flowers, but in the process, some baseball games will be rained out. That was the case yesterday as the Syracuse Mets game against the Rochester Red Wings was postponed yesterday. Tim Tebow looks like he's ready for action. Top third, Tebow at the dish. He singles it to the right field over the outstretched glove of a Red Wings infielder. That's the first hit of the game for the Mets. Tebow was 1 for 3 from the plate, and 2 batters later, Gregor Bronco says, "Bring my boy Timmy on home," with a double to the middle that almost left the park. 1-0 Mets. The Mets take the second game of the doubleheader, 3-0, and earn a split of the series. We head out west now. The Clippers were trying to even their series against the hungry Golden State Warriors. Clippers Steph Curry looking ready to go. Draymond Green finds Steph Curry, who hits it 73-50. Warriors at the half, 3 of his 23 points. Draymond Green finds Klay Thompson, who leaves it for Kevin Durant, who throws it down for the dunk and one. 94-63 Warriors. Good morning. Welcome to your NCC Sports Update. I'm Kylan Watson. I know it has been a while, 11 years to be exact, but Tiger Woods was in contention at a major tournament. Tonight, as he entered the tournament, Tiger was hoping to prove that he is back. Syracuse got their 18th victory of the season, bouncing back from a 22-point blowout against Louisville last week. And some new faces to their fans. Maybe a practice game, but Dino Babers is in midseason form instructing his troops. Tommy DeVito is looking to start off strong, but he gets picked off by Trill Williams, who is making a house call for the score. The defense forced 3 turnovers and got 2 touchdowns off of 2 of them. Running, who carried them throughout most of his game, scoring 24 points, hitting 6 3-pointers, a new career high. Offense gets back into it, though, as Clayton Welsh throws a beautifully thrown 71-yard bomb to Nakeem Johnson. Welsh is battling for the backup QB role behind the Vito with Rex Culpepper. From the gridiron to lacrosse, the Syracuse University lacrosse team headed down to Chapel Hill for their ACC regular season finale with the Tar Heels. Syracuse was looking to get a higher seed with the ACC tournament coming up in 2 weeks. This rivalry had a little bit more of an extra meaning. Coaching men's lacrosse. We head to the second. Syracuse is down by 1. Nate Solomon takes it himself, double team, uses a pump fake to get some room, and the score is tied. This time in NFL history, both championship games had to be decided in overtime. We start with what some call the passing of the torch game, as young phenom Patrick Mahomes' Chiefs took on Brady's Patriots. Brady's 41 and Patrick Mahomes is 23. Brady was on his Kendrick Lamar, though, as he told the young man to sit down, finding Gronk. Brady accesses clutch gene and called game, finding Gronk once again at the 12. Then it sets up Burkhead to bring the hammer down on the Chiefs and sending the Patriots to their 3rd Super Bowl in a row. In the week against Louisville. Jim Boeheim hugs his old friend Coach K, and now we get down to business. Early in the first, nobody stops the ball handler. Frank Howard from Tim Duncan Range is pure. Dom, it may be April, but madness is coming. We started with 64 teams, and now we have 2 teams left. The Texas Tech Red Raiders and the University of Virginia Cavaliers played in the championship game tonight. These are 2 teams that were in the tournament last year but had their tournament hopes dashed. The Cavaliers lost to the UMBC Golden Retrievers in the first round, and the Texas Tech lost to the Villanova Wildcats in the Elite Eight last year. Only one of these teams can sit on the championship throne. I'm out. 16 seconds left. Jerome is driving and finds Hunter, who has ice in his veins, and hits that shot. We are tied at 68. Hunter had 27 points. Hunter again. The rainbow finds gold at the end. He puts them up 2 at that point. Good morning. Welcome to NCC Sports. I'm Kylan Watson, and this is your NCC Sports Update. Syracuse was coming off an embarrassing loss to the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets on Saturday. No time to sit on that loss, though, as last night the Orange had to play the #1 ranked Duke Blue Devils. Welcome to our NCAA March Madness special. It is that time of year again. I'm joined by Casey Busher and Dallas Jackson. And guys, the seeds are out, and Syracuse is the #8 seed in the West region. Now, guys, do you think they were seeded fairly? Welcome back to NCC News. I'm Kylan Watson. It's time to talk some sports with Keir Chapman. Keir, what do you think about Coach Boeheim coaching so soon after his accident that took the life of Jorge Jimenez? Well, I mean, they won against Pittsburgh. They only lost because they had to play Duke for the 3rd time. And so I think that was a really good thing for them going through the tournament without Tyus Battle, because it made them really rely more on their shooting. Their biggest wins were Ohio State, Louisville. They beat Duke once on the road, and that may be their most highest profile win. But this team definitely has to get it together, especially if they want, like Casey said, to beat a very, very game Baylor squad. So this is a Baylor. What do you think Syracuse could exploit that Baylor does? Ooh, Nicole Roby-Coleman takes out Tommy Lee Lewis, and the rest missed about 2 calls right there. Sean Payton apparently agrees, as he is furious on the sidelines. In basketball, that would definitely be a tech. And we're going to overtime. Here we go. Saints. Drew Brees gets creamed by Dante Fowler on the interception from John Johnson, and it sets up Greg the Leg Zuerlein from 57 yards. It's good, and your NFC representatives from the Super Bowl are the Rams.
My decision was a lot based off of this lacrosse program and how successful it was.
Julia Sardella is a 5'5" lacrosse midfielder from Liverpool, New York. She has scored 24 goals and had 10 assists in her first year at Lemoyne College. Ella transferred from Siena University to Lemoyne College. Her season was cut short because of a knee injury she sustained last week. Despite the injury, Sardella has still made a big impact on this team.
I'm mostly an offensive player, so I didn't expect to, have a role right away, but I think I honestly did. I started every single game, and I've been able to, have those goals, have those assists, and I think push my teammates, and they pushed me and made me into a better player.
Kathy Taylor says that while people may not be used to seeing D1 athletes transfer to D2 programs, it's happening more and more. She is happy to have Sardella, who is a
talented player. I believe that a lot of our athletes here at D2 are also talented like Julia, but they've chosen the lifestyle of a D2 athlete, perhaps a little bit more in balance. Julia coming on board was a big help for us. She's very fast, she's talented, she's got a great stick, and has meshed very well with our team.
Coach Taylor says Sardella helps empower the younger players, and she has a mature voice on the team. Kylan Watson, NCC Sports.
I'm pretty sure I was out for like a month. Yeah, it was not fun.
Jacqueline Hingry is a former lacrosse player and senior in the engineering school at Syracuse University. She was a force on the lacrosse field in high school until she was stopped by
I had 1 concussion during my junior year of high school, and it was from playing lacrosse.
Concussion is a brain injury. It happens because of blows to the head. Hingry got her concussion from her head hitting this.
Bounced off of the turf, so I just had a really bad headache. I remember going home on the bus, just had a pounding headache. I woke up the next day and I could not focus whatsoever. Light really bothered me, sound really bothered me. I couldn't look at my phone.
A concussion affects people differently. For Hingry, it took her a couple of weeks to recover from it in high school. She said once her symptoms went away, she started feeling something else.
Kind of still feel it, but I definitely want to just go back and play. So it's like, I don't think you should do that, because if you play, at least of my knowledge, if you still have a concussion and you go out there and play, like, that's not good.
Hingry was medically disqualified from playing lacrosse at Syracuse because of her concussion and getting whiplash at SU. That girls lacrosse has a high concussion rate, surpassed only by football, boys ice hockey, boys lacrosse, in girls soccer. Director of the Newhouse Sports Media Center and professor of practice at Syracuse, Olivia Stomsky. Stomsky says how coaches and the public think about injured athletes returning to the game has changed.
Toughness was going back in because you can't always see the severity and the possible side effects of concussions. It's a lot easier to say, oh, he should go back in, right? We correlate going back in to a game as being tough.
New research has been released from researchers at the University of Buffalo. Researchers say that prescribing young athletes aerobic exercises helps the brain recover faster from concussions. These new findings have been confirmed by other medical experts like Dr. Deborah Smith.
Activity, some light aerobic activity, as soon as the student in particular has had more manageable symptoms. They're very few, very minor, and much less frequent. And by introducing it in a very paced way, they do seem to begin to tolerate more.
Findings may change concussion treatments. Conventional treatments were to let athletes rest until symptoms stop. This study involved young athletes, but Dr. Spinks believes that the new research can be used to also help adults recover from concussions faster as well. Kylan Watson, NCC News.